All right, welcome back to another episode of Scene Interpretation. I am Dr. Sophia Murphy, a licensed professional counselor here in Arizona. And if you've been listening to any of our episodes, you've probably figured out by now that I am slightly movie obsessed. And there are very few things I love more than sitting and talking about movies, especially with amazing people and close friends. So today I am super lucky because I have Chris here, who is also a podcast extraordinaire. So woof, the bar is high. But a fellow cinephile who was thrilled to flip over and come on my side and talk about a new movie for the day. So if you want to introduce yourself, we'll talk about what we're going to dig into.
Most definitely. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, the way I like to start. And in
Yes.
other ways, hello, welcome. My name is Christopher Felix, aka the Professor, El Profe, and I have a podcast out here in Southern Arizona called Hits Off the Streets.
Yeah.
And I just want to say it's an honor to be on the opposite end of things. Trust me.
Well, yes, and I feel honored that I get to interview someone who does this so regularly. And yes, please go listen to Hits Off the Streets. We had a blast when I got to come on your show. You have so much great content and you represent and support the Valleys so much that I am thrilled to have you even just come and hang out in my little space
Oh, I
and
appreciate it.
chit chat about something different.
It's always good to be around great people. And ever since the first day I met you till now, I got to say it's been a great adventure.
Same.
And I appreciate it.
Yes.
Hey.
I always appreciate when we get to just say hi, catch
Right.
up, and just kind of like have that good energy because
Oh,
we
yeah.
tend to cross paths in very high stressful situations
We
and
do.
high stressful scenarios.
Oh, for
So
sure.
I always appreciate the smile, the dap, and the hug.
Oh,
It
yeah.
makes my night.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
Big time, big time.
All right. So because you're a cinephile, when we started talking about this, we were kind of bumping into just like how many movies you've already seen.
Mhm.
And so I'm having a really fun time trying to like cherry pick a new movie for somebody and
For sure.
introduce them to a completely different title. So today we are going to be talking about The Talented Mr. Ripley.
Yeah.
And look at this. Physical media. It's alive. We're fighting for it.
Right.
I love the DVD. I'm so thrilled that you have it on DVD. And so, yeah, even before we got on mic, I was saying it's just so wild to me to think that this movie is 27 years old,
Just yesterday.
just yesterday. And I distinctly remember going to the theater to see it.
Wow.
And I only knew Matt Damon, obviously, from Good Will Hunting.
Mhm.
And he is not Good Will Hunting. He is legitimately terrifying.
Right.
And I think I was realizing too, with all the roles since then, I still think this is maybe his best role.
You know what? I was amazed, and I just want to say 20 years ago, I did not even hear about this movie, know about this movie until about a month ago. So
Really?
I am very brand new and cherry to this movie. So I gotta say though, I'm a big Matt Damon fan, and this is one of his best roles that I have seen him play. And this is talking about
Yeah.
20 some years ago.
Well, then
You
that
know?
makes me even more excited because we just opened your mind to
Oh, you
seeing it in
did.
a whole different way
I
in a
loved it
role
though.
that you weren't familiar with.
At all.
Oh, this is great. So, yeah, so you kind of answered my first question was what was your awareness or relationship to this movie before we picked it?
Like I said before, it was a challenge for me at first. I have a big TV in my room, let me tell you something. It's an 80-inch TV that only goes to YouTube.
Right.
No other platforms, no nothing. I use it for my podcast.
Right.
And I try to find it on Hulu. I try to get it on all the other programs that are out there.
Yeah.
I couldn't find it. So I called Zia Records and pulled out my DVD player, and there it was. And here we are.
I love it. So it led you on a literal journey.
Big time, big time.
Not just the journey of watching the movie, but the journey to get to watch the
Yeah,
movie.
but it was amazing. And before we even go ahead and move forward, I want to give
Yeah.
a big shout out to the guy upstairs right now because I know you're a big Jurassic Park fan.
I am.
Sam Neill, rest in
Yes.
peace. Thank you
Oh.
for everything you did for us and
Yeah.
bringing back dinosaurs. I just gotta say that.
I'm so glad you said that. I think maybe I've tried to block it out a little bit in his
Yeah.
past because I just can't believe he's not in the world anymore. And he's so integral to my love of movies and
Yeah.
cinema. And he's also a great example of like, I knew him as Alan Grant.
Right.
And then I don't know if you've ever seen Event Horizon,
Mhm.
the horror movie.
Mhm.
Seeing him in that movie
And he was
just
psychotic.
traumatized me in a good way, right? Like it traumatized me in a way of like, it's one of my favorite horror movies.
Yeah.
And yes, I did hear about his passing, and oh, just rest in peace. And thank you for opening my mind and my heart to movies and character
Oh, for
studies.
sure.
And oh, such a great
For
piece.
sure.
Yes, I'm so glad you remembered to say that.
No, I had to, shout out to all the directors out there, the producers,
Yeah,
the actors, to all the play script writers. You guys are amazing. You are what captivate our eyes as well.
absolutely.
And I want to shout out my cousin Marcos Parra. He's an actor out there in LA. My
Awesome.
good friend Chris Acosta, who's actually my brother, an ex wildland firefighter. He's an actor too as well. Both of them have been on my podcast, so check it out as well. I mean, it's great to see family members,
Yeah,
brothers, sisters be in the big screen roles. And then to think that they're on Tubi as well on Netflix is just like, okay, cool. If they have a chance to make it on film, why can't we?
absolutely. And I love that you just never know what role could open that door for someone either,
Hmm.
right? And like acting is such an interesting profession just because you're putting yourself out there all the time and
Oh,
you're
yeah.
wearing these different masks and you're digging in these different parts of yourself. And yeah, you just never know where it's going to take you.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So
It's funny how you say that different masks, different roles,
perfect. I wasn't
especially
even
in this
thinking about
movie.
segueing into this story. So kind of like even jumping to where do I want to start? I have like so many thoughts because I just love this movie so much. So I guess going with the mask, talk to me about the moment when you realized that Ripley was maybe not who he thought he was.
Mhm.
And he wasn't just lying to survive. He's driven by this desire to become someone else entirely.
For sure.
Like, how did it hit you? And like, what did you make of that?
When he met his dad. So
Mm,
when they had that conversation saying, "Bring my son back,"
yeah.
and all of a sudden something clicked in his mind to think, "Okay, how am I gonna accept this challenge of
Yeah.
bringing some son back that doesn't wanna be here,
Yep.
that I know nothing of,
Right.
and now I gotta leave to the town or city, of Rome and play a part
Yes.
that I'm already playing, yet that's not who I still really am." So I went
Right.
from a character to be another person.
Yes.
I think that's where everything to me was like, okay,
Yeah.
three different personalities taking off to one place to bring back one personality.
Yes.
So, so four different personalities mixed in with one. I was like, okay, where's this going now?
I know. And one thing that really stood out to me in rewatching it this time, and I wish I had written down some of these quotes, is that a lot of the times in the beginning, he doesn't lie, he just doesn't answer the
Hmm.
question. So even when Dickie's dad,
Hmm.
can't remember his first name, but Mr. Greenleaf is asking Tom, like, "Oh, you went to Princeton, you must know my son."
Right.
And he just basically reflects the question back to
Hmm.
him. And then the dad is the one that says Dickie Greenleaf.
Yeah.
And then the mom is the one that says class of 52. And
Yeah.
like, he never says, "I know Dickie Greenleaf,"
Right.
and flat out lies. He's just so good at evading
Hmm.
and putting people in the position to give him the information he needs.
But it's funny, if you look really closely, the Hogwarts symbol, that Princeton symbol
Yes.
that he has on, that's what he went off of. He
Right.
didn't go off of anything else.
Right.
The family, the mom and the dad, the Greenlee family said, "Okay, you're from Princeton." Yep, Princeton it is. Let's
Exactly.
go.
Yes, you're
Just
one of us.
yeah.
Yeah, and
And that's all it took.
I had that thought too, was he didn't even start it, right? It's
Mhm.
not like he set out to deceive this
Mhm.
family. He was just so adept at taking what was offered
Mhm.
and then really following other people's leads. And
Yeah.
they just gave him so many opportunities until the end when he has to flat out start lying.
Right.
Because I don't even know how he kept up with all the lies. Because I even found myself, I would Google at certain points, be like, well, wouldn't somebody know XYZ? And wouldn't so, and Google was like, well, no, because only Tom knew that
Right.
information or the other person didn't know this other piece. I'm like, oh, I guess that is right.
That's what I loved about it though, and now that you say that, different pieces. So
Yeah.
the each character that he met only knew a certain person. They didn't
Yes.
know anything else besides that. They were
Yes.
just one-minded,
Yes.
and the box was so closed off
Yeah.
where it was like, "No, this is who you are, and that's who I know, and we're gonna go with that. I don't know anything else left or right, but you
Right.
know what? Let's stick with to who you are."
Yes. And
And
he was so skilled at basically taking advantage of
Oh,
that.
yeah, big time.
Yeah. He could exploit all the gaps
Oh, yeah.
and rewrite the story however he wanted.
Oh, yeah.
So Tom Ripley tells someone early in the film that he always thought it would be better to be a fake somebody than a real nobody. What did you think about that sentence and how he kind of perceived the world?
I think it has a lot to do with a lot of things that are going on in the real world right now, especially with the social media aspect of everything.
Sure.
People are seeing what other people are doing
Yes.
and they want to replicate that for themselves.
Yeah.
So they're trying to be somebody who they really ain't, and they're trying to mimic others who they really ain't as well.
Yeah. Well, and it's so interesting because, again, this is a 27-year-old movie that takes
Mhm.
place in the 50s.
Mhm.
And your point is really, really spot on, is that I almost wonder if people would find him more empathetic now. Not the murders, and obviously, like, it gets really dark.
There's murders in this movie?
But just the idea of someone yearning so much to
Right.
inhabit this life and to put on this persona that they'd be willing to do almost anything to do that.
Mhm.
Because you're right, like, it is almost normal now.
Mhm.
Social media is a completely fabricated point of view.
Very much.
We only post the positives. It's completely curated, that we've kind of come to an odd place where we just accept that as reality, even though we know it's not.
Mhm. It's like me for, say, I'm the professor, I'm Streets, and then I'm Chris,
Yeah.
and then I'm this person at another job. You know? That's what I was thinking at the same time. I was like, dude, that's different people all the time. You wear different jackets, you wear different
Yeah.
coats, you wear different ties, you wear
Yeah.
different faces, different
Yeah.
masks, and then, you have to act certain ways around certain people, and that's what
Yeah.
he did.
Yeah.
There's ways to be professional. There's ways, or there's times where you need to be professional. There's times
Yep.
where you can mess around,
Yep.
have fun,
Yep.
smile, laugh.
Let your hair down.
Yeah, for sure. But that's where I see this movie going, like when they told him, "Hey, I'll give you this amount of money to go over there," he didn't care about the money.
Right.
He was like, "Okay, cool. I want to get to know somebody else, and I
Yeah.
want to study this person
Yes.
because I eventually, not in his mind, already made up thinking I'm going to be this person. No, I want to learn who this person is, so either I can use them as a character later," which in the movie, he was like, "Oh, no, that's who I want to be."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and it made me wonder this time too, and I don't have an answer to this, who was Tom Ripley to start with?
We did not know.
Right. And do we know if we ever even met Tom Ripley,
I
or was that his persona at the time?
I think we met him at the end when he started crying. When
Mm,
he found out himself, he was like, "What did I do? Who did I become?
yeah.
And why did I do this?"
Yeah. It's really heartbreaking at the end with him and Peter.
I thought it was
Ugh.
very,
Oh,
very interesting that he did that, but his character was broken when he saw, I forget the character name, but when the lady came on board and
Meredith.
said, "Meredith,
Mhm.
are you traveling as R today?"
Yeah.
"Yes, I am."
Yes,
Yeah.
and it's like, "Oh, Peter, you're in trouble.
Yeah,
Run.
yeah.
It can't work now."
And the fact that he got caught. Eventually,
Yeah.
everybody gets caught, okay?
Yes.
In any bad situation that you're in, it's gonna come down to that.
Yeah. When it was like, we don't know what happens after that either, because
Mhm.
how could he come out of the cabin, I don't know, build a relationship with Meredith? Like,
Mhm.
eventually, it will start over where people are gonna say, like, "We heard Meredith Logue is dating, Dickie
Yeah,
Greenleaf,"
Dickie's
when
back.
his own father is like, he died by suicide,
Right.
right? Or, I mean, he's already given himself so many corners, there's nowhere to
For
go,
sure.
and
My
it's so
thing is,
sad.
where are you gonna drag the body?
Well, that too. How are you gonna get away with it this time?
Right,
I
right.
mean, it's just so sad. Poor Peter. I feel like he was the one really good, solid character.
The one that cared, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But that's what I thought was really interesting. It turned into a love affair situation all of a sudden
Yeah.
because at the end, Peter did have feelings.
Oh, I
But
think
for
Peter
who?
genuinely thought he loved him based
Right.
on what he thought he knew,
Yeah, yeah.
right? Like, he only got those pieces to build his own version of Tom.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I would imagine until he's probably dying, has no idea what Tom's truly
Oh,
capable
yeah.
of. He
Oh,
just
yeah.
knows that he's quiet and reserved.
That's
And
it.
I also wonder too, if you think about the timeline, if Peter attributed a lot of Tom's introversion to being gay.
I think so.
Yeah.
You know, especially in that era, in that time,
Yep.
and especially in the place where they were at,
Right.
you
For
know?
safety.
Mhm.
This time I was really thinking, like, I wonder if Peter gives him a lot of leeway
Mhm.
because he imagines Tom's probably used to keeping himself small, right? Like
Right.
literally in the closet.
Yeah.
And so they bring that out in each other. And it's like, oh, we know Tom is very dangerous, but he
Right.
sees this very sweet, gentle side of him that I think Peter gave him a lot of credit.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah. Oh, I liked Peter. I was
Yeah. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, when I saw him and I was hearing it, I was like, "Oh, no, he
I
didn't."
know.
Like, they're fighting, no, it's not gonna happen, and then he goes into the cabin, I was like, "Oh, he did."
Yeah.
And I was like, this is how it's gonna end?" And I was like, "Oh, man,
And
that's
it's
crazy."
also so, like, beautifully artistically
Mhm.
done because you don't see Peter get
Mhm,
murdered,
yeah,
right? And, I mean, you see him very brutally kill Dickie, you
right,
see him very brutally kill Freddie.
right.
He probably would have killed, Marge
Mhm.
if Peter hadn't walked in, but I love how they cut away and
Yeah,
it's already happened,
yeah, yeah,
and he's so somber, but you hear it play out
yeah.
in Peter's struggle and his suffocation, and I'm just like, "Oh god, it's just so sad." It's so dark.
It is, I loved it, though. It
Yes.
was a good setup to a good ending.
I agree, and I like the dark stuff. I'm always drawn to the dark movies. Okay, so Matt Damon plays Tom Ripley in a way that makes you almost feel a little sorry for him most of the
Mhm.
film, even though we know as the audience that he's a murderer. So I wonder, like, what do you think about that juxtaposition or any discomfort around, like, I know what he's capable of and what he's done, and I'm still drawn in and maybe feel some empathy for him?
You would think by watching the way he was studying each and every person to become that person,
Yeah.
that maybe it was like, you know what, this is just too much. I'm gonna stop here. I
Oh,
think I reached the limit.
yeah.
I'm happy with what I've accomplished.
Good point.
Obviously, I'm not gonna get him back home, but I can take him and be him somewhere else
Yeah.
instead of, you know what, let's see how far I can push it.
Yeah, that's a good point. I wonder what would have ever been enough for Tom.
Hmm.
I mean, I think it kind of brings us back to that idea of like he was so terrified of being a nobody
Right.
that he was almost willing to continually risk and push to
Hmm.
be somebody.
Yeah.
But even when he had it, he was still really him.
Right.
Like, again, it's just a mask.
Yeah.
And like he talks about that metaphor, doesn't everyone have that closet in the
Right.
basement with
Yeah.
everything just shoved inside and it's locked and the key is in your pocket?
Mhm.
But yeah, that's a good point that it was just like you would maybe hope that at some point it
Right.
would be enough.
But it was funny because you say wearing a mask, and the note that I took that
Yeah.
I want everybody to hear is everybody should have one talent, and that was
Mm,
him saying that too.
yeah.
So his talent was being somebody else,
Right.
you know?
Yes.
But it goes further than that, I think, because he's educating himself
Yeah.
on how to be proper, how to
Yes.
speak, what to eat, and then yet he still has to flip that switch
Mm,
to become him or to become that other person again
yes.
and go back to that other education that he got, which I thought was amazing in this movie. You
Yeah.
know, you have to be a very talented person to pick up all little tendencies of people left and right from the ring to the talk
Yes.
to the hair
Yeah.
certain way,
Yeah.
you know? So it was amazing. I really enjoyed this movie a lot, and I
Yeah.
thank you for it.
Absolutely. I mean, when we were picking, I was like, "Oh, this is actually the perfect one because it's so twisty, it's so turny. There's actually so much psychological meat on the bone to
Oh, for
like
sure.
tear apart of just so many layers to this character study." And again, I think it's interesting the characters around him,
Oh, yeah.
right? So like Dickie is so self-absorbed.
Mhm.
And you really think about it, how easy it was for Tom to weasel his way in there.
Right.
And I think we're supposed to think that Dickie thinks he has all the control.
Yeah.
And to some extent, he does. I think Tom is genuinely rejected and
Mhm.
hurt because Dickie casts him aside.
For sure.
But for all of it, Tom is in control.
Oh, yeah.
Like you said, he's studying, he's
Mhm.
learning, he's mimicking. And I think Dickie sees himself as infallible.
Oh, yeah. Well, it goes down to the part where they're at the beach when they first met,
Yeah.
when he goes and he sees both of them, and then he's like, "Okay, how am I gonna play this?" So it's like a
Yes.
game of chess. I don't move my
Yes.
pieces
Perfect
left and
metaphor.
right.
Yes.
So, okay, here's my move. goes
Yes.
in, and then Dickie still feels that he's in charge with his arrogance, you know, with his
Yes.
hands behind his back. And Princeton, come on, dude, like you,
Yes. And
not.
he even insults him.
Yeah,
He's so
yeah,
white, just like Marge, right? He has to like dress him down a little
yeah,
bit.
yeah, just so he can see that, dude, you're nobody.
And yet Tom is already like puppeteering to go to dinner the next night. And even at that scene, what stood out to me was, again, he doesn't quite lie. He's actually saying the thing they just misinterpreted.
Right,
So when Dickie's saying like, what do you do for a living? And he's like, forge signatures,
right.
impersonate voices.
And
And
you
it's
got in
like,
love with it.
he's telling you, he's actually showing you who he is.
Yeah.
But of course you write it off because he couldn't be a threat. He's this nerdy, quiet, simple kind of guy.
Yep. And he poses no threat to me. You
Exactly.
know, I'm from Princeton. I was this person. I was that person. You were just at Princeton.
Right.
But you know what I mean? They were still using what we talked about a little bit earlier on the show. No detail to anything else.
Right.
Just Princeton.
Yes.
That's it.
They just believed it at face value.
You didn't know Jim. You didn't know Joe. You didn't know this person.
I
No.
thought that too. There wouldn't be any conversation of like,
Right.
who were your friends?
Yeah.
What classes did you take? Did you have this professor?
Yeah.
Did you go to this event? Like it was
Mhm.
just, yes. And then I think kind of to that point, like Tom was so good at feeding into Dickie's,
Mhm.
narcissism that with the jazz and like sprinkling all the little
Mhm.
crumbs and like basically saying everything he would know that Dickie would want to hear.
Oh yeah, I loved it though. Jazz. I mean, it was great.
I know.
Great setup.
So
I was
good.
like, oh, she picked a great movie for me. Couldn't have a better movie than that she picked.
Yes. So kind of when we're talking about like the Princeton and the class and everything, this wealthy world that Tom is infiltrating never fully lets him in, no matter how perfectly he performs or conforms. What do you think about that idea of like the outsider is always the outsider, no matter what mask they wear?
The outsider is always the outsider. You have to work your way in somehow, some way in order not to feel that way. And that's where it comes down to him. You know what intrigued me the most was when he smelled them on the train. So when he went over, leaned over, and got that smell, I think that's where he was like, I'm in.
Mm.
Now I know every little single detail. I'm not an outsider no more.
Oh, interesting. So it's almost like,
I finally found out who this person is.
so like he's kind of figured Dickie out by
Mhm.
that point. That's
Mhm.
fascinating. See, for me, I was thinking about, I don't know if you listened to the most recent episode about Parasite,
Mhm.
if you've seen that movie.
Mm.
That was our last episode. But in Parasite, they spend the whole movie dissecting the class,
Mhm.
right? And the classism and the layers to that. And their argument in that movie is very much that no matter how well you play it,
Mhm.
you're never truly one of them.
Yep.
You're always the outsider.
Oh, yeah.
And so I kind of had that vibe in this movie too, that like there's even a line when he's walking with Meredith
Yeah.
and she says something like, people who've always had money, even though they detest it, are only comfortable with other people
People
who
that have
always
money.
had money.
Yeah.
And I was like, there's the line of the movie,
Yeah.
right? No matter how good he was at taking over Dickie's life or infiltrating
You
the
still weren't
space,
gonna be who we
he
are.
still wasn't one of them.
Mhm.
And that to me is just like sad, and also I think commentary that's probably still applicable today.
And it is because it's funny. I had a conversation earlier with a coworker. He met this lady, and that's all she talks about in the stock market and this and that. But that's all
Money.
she knows.
Yeah.
And he straight up told her, I am not about that. I do not live that life. I'm
Yeah.
a simple person, but I feel that I am on the outside looking into you,
Yeah.
and that's not who I am.
Mm.
But the lady still with that personality, okay, brush it off. You're still that person, but you're still an outsider, basically. You know?
Yeah.
It's crazy to think about it. That's the way people live. They don't
Yeah.
know nothing else.
I know. And I think there's like that sadder aspect of the darkness in the story is that, he was really looking for inclusion, and I'm going out on a limb giving him any sort of like empathy. I mean, he was a murderous sociopath, I think, at the end of the day, if I'm going to diagnose him.
For real.
And on one level, if I try to really reach for seeing his perspective, is like there is that piece of like feeling humiliated, being
Yeah.
excluded, I mean, again, from the moment he meets Dickie, even though
Mhm.
Dickie lets him in, he belittles him, he gaslights him, he makes fun of him. Then he meets
Mhm.
Freddie,
Yep.
and Freddie is the over the top version of poking at him and poking at him and making him less than.
For real.
And on some level, like, that does lead to madness or lead
Mhm.
to envy and lead to despair. And it's just fascinating to see it depicted with all this like glossy elegance and Italy and
Right.
opulence.
And then it was funny because Dickie was telling him, "Oh, I'm gonna take you to this place with me.
Yes.
You're gonna be part of this event. They're
Yep.
gonna take you to meet this person. I'm gonna take you to this person." And then the friend comes in,
Freddie.
Freddie comes in.
Hmm.
Who are you?
Yeah.
You are nobody. Get
Yes.
out of here. Like
Yes.
you are,
Go sightseeing on
yeah,
your own.
yeah.
This is our thing
But
now.
still, you're still part of us, or you can still come along, but you're just,
You're not included,
yeah,
even if you're included.
yeah.
Exactly, and that really stood out to me again too, is, like, I think there's that push and pull of, like, we're having some empathy for him
Hmm.
throughout the movie, and then also you see this darkness in
Oh
him,
yeah.
and it's deadly, right? It's literally a deadly part of him, and yet you're just like, it's so
Oh
nuanced,
yeah.
right? It's not this, like, he's pure evil, he's dangerous, extremely dangerous, and he's also clearly very wounded,
Right.
very and being wounded throughout the movie.
Yeah. I like what you said earlier too. Was he a killer before we even met him?
Right.
You know?
It's hard to know, and I think it's based on a book, so I don't know
Okay.
how much backstory there is on
Wow.
it.
Okay. I didn't
But
know
I was
that.
thinking that too of, like, I think it's at least one book, if not more than one,
Okay.
and so I'm curious if there is more backstory
Ah,
about him out
interesting.
there. Yeah.
Interesting. All right.
Um, but yeah, so kind of speaking about all the layers and the nuances, while watching this or after watching this, was there anything that shifted for you in the thinking about envy, right? So, like, we typically see envy as a negative emotion. We're like coveting something that someone else has. And the
Hmm.
way that it's portrayed in the movie, it's not just a feeling, it's something that really drives him. It kind of constructs his entire world. And so I just kind of wonder what you felt or thought about his relationship with envy.
I kind of felt bad for him actually
Yeah.
because he didn't know who he was. He didn't know where he fit in.
Yeah.
He was just trying to be somebody where just accept me, but he really wasn't accepted.
Yes.
So, what is the best thing that I can do? Lie.
Yeah.
And the world, think right now is full of a lot of lies. A
Yeah.
lot of people lie
Yes.
to get to where they need to be or to
Yes.
get in through a certain door that is closed on them.
Yeah. I think that's 100% true. And that takes me right back to your earlier comment is I think I can have more empathy when someone has to lie to get in the door,
Hmm.
but then it's hard to maintain that empathy when the lies
Oh, yeah.
become, again, dangerous to others and the lying requires you to hurt
Oh,
others.
for
And
sure.
it isn't just to get that foot in the door, it's now to God only knows, like,
Cause problems,
yes,
hurt.
cause
You know what
problems,
I
cause hurt.
mean?
It isn't ever enough.
It is not
Yeah.
because you still feed off of that,
Yeah.
and that that the food that you're eating will
Mm,
stick with the food. Well, the food that you're eating
yeah.
is building up more strength, more
Mm.
confidence,
Oh, yeah.
and it's taking you to that level where now you're just like, dude, I'm up here, you're down here now. Like
Yeah.
I am the dominant person. I'm the alpha now. You are
Yeah.
nothing because I got you like a puppet on the string.
Well, and that I think takes us to that, titular moment on the boat
Mhm.
when Dickie and Tom are alone.
Mhm.
And as soon as I think Dickie shows his true colors, and
Right,
he's
right.
basically saying to Tom, like, you're a leech, you're
Right.
boring, you creep me out. And then Tom goes right into the, like, you don't even know who you are, right? Like, one day you're knocking up Sylvana, and the next minute you're going to marry Marge.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have any idea who you are. So, I think to your point, like, as he got a little taste of this and the confidence, he also didn't really even like Dickie.
At all.
But it was like he couldn't live without him, and then he had to become him, and it
Right.
just became so convoluted to where, like, Tom didn't know what he was or who he was, and he hated the same exact thing about Dickie, but then he was, like, so enmeshed in wanting to be him.
Mhm. My question was, what was Dickie's thought? Was he taking him out there to do what he was planning to do?
Oh, damn.
Or was he out there to say, I'm gonna just toss you off the boat? make your way home by on your own? You know, what was the intent of that boat ride
That
out
is a
into the middle
great
of the ocean?
question. I don't know that I've ever thought about that. See, I told you, this happens every time. Somebody gives me a perspective I've never thought about. Do we think that Dickie had the same plan or planned? Because I don't know that Tom planned to kill
Yeah.
Dickie, right? He was
No.
very reactive.
Yeah.
But do we think that Dickie planned the boating trip as a way to get rid of Tom?
Mhm.
That's fascinating.
Because eventually there was a point there that I'm breaking up with you. You're
Yeah,
not my friend. It is
right,
over. But you know what? I'm gonna take it to the extreme. I'm out in the middle of nowhere. Nobody knows where I'm at.
right.
This is somewhere where I want to come to be now because I got bored of wherever I was.
Yeah.
So, you know, maybe it's time.
I mean, I kind of like that idea because I'll come back to this in a minute. We find out that Dickie's capable of some pretty fucked up shit
Oh yeah,
later.
yeah.
But I guess the way I've always read it was that I thought that Dickie was so, again, self absorbed
Hmm.
that he saw himself as untouchable
Very much.
and that he thought he could discard Tom with no consequence
Yeah.
because it sounds like he's been doing that for a long time.
Hmm.
He uses people and discards them,
Yeah.
uses people and discards them. And so I really got the sense that it would never cross his mind that Tom would do anything in retaliation.
For sure.
He might cry or he might be upset, but just that, like,
Basically a little.
I felt like he was teaching,
Yeah.
he was kind of treating him like a little, like, mouse on a
Yeah.
string, was
Hmm.
just kind of like, I'll give you this one last little trip and this
Yeah.
one last time together. We'll go to the jazz thing,
Yeah.
we'll get on the boat one more time, and then you're trash.
That's
Goodbye,
it.
and I'm
Yeah.
off without you. I don't know that I ever thought he planned to kill him.
Yeah.
I thought he could discard of him and Tom would never fight back.
Yeah. Yep. But that's the dominance in his thoughts
Yeah.
when he was like, okay, cool. This is it. I'm going to do this. And then they started getting into that argument. And then he decided to stand up and
Yes.
pull out his chest and say, you know what? You're boring. So that was a trigger
Yes.
that was like, okay, dude, there it is.
Yeah.
You
And
know?
Tom says multiple times, like, stop. And
Mm-hmm.
then he hits him with the oar, and
Yeah.
then all bets are off at that point. And I remember that image in the theater, not seeing that coming at all.
Yeah.
Like, I thought maybe they'd fight or something would happen and Tom would flip out, but I distinctly remember when, like, Jude Law leans up and his face just starts
Right.
profusely bleeding, and I was just like, "Oh my god, like, this is getting crazy."
Right.
'Cause
Right.
I don't know that I thought Tom would actually kill Dickie. I
Mm-mm.
didn't know where it was gonna go.
Exactly. And then that's when the transformation kicks in.
I know.
You know, now I got another character to add and another person to be, and let's go with it.
Yes, and now it's like I'm not just evading answers, I'm explicitly lying, and he's
Yeah.
so good at puppeteering.
Oh, yeah.
So much work.
It's a lot of work, I gotta tell you. But it's the same thing that I said earlier. You see it more now. People
Yeah.
portraying who they really ain't.
Yes.
So, best advice that I can give to everybody is just be who you are and lead by example. You know, you don't have to be these people that are out there that are social media influencers, or, you know, we all want to be athletes. We all want to be musicians. We all
Yeah.
wanted to be models. Eventually, that wasn't our path. So, be who you are and be the best person that you can be. You know,
Yeah. It takes a lot less energy to be authentic than it
very
does to
much so.
construct an entirely fake identity and try to live up with that and then
Yeah.
have to deal with the consequences.
But who knows how many characters he was? Like I said,
Yeah.
like you said, like
I
how
know.
many people, like who is this dude?
I know. And now I really want to do more of that research and kind of figure out, like, is there ever in the books or any other, like, depictions of this more of who he was that led him to this
You know
point?
what's so funny about the movie? I was thinking, you know, like you said, we're having fun, comedy and everything.
Yeah.
He reminded me of a Medea / Professor Clump movie. Like, there's so many characters, but yet it's the same person.
Right, right. Except I don't think anyone got beaten to
Right,
death
right.
or in either of those stories. That's the lighter version
For
of,
sure.
like, someone having to take on older personas. I love it. I love that leap. So I guess kind of talking about, like, all the darkness, I found it so interesting and quite beautiful too that it's shot in Italy.
Mhm.
You know, the backdrop is always very, like, sun-soaked, vibrant, really gorgeous. And it's really a contrast to the darkness of the story
For
and
sure.
the darkness that's going on within Tom. And just what did you think about that kind of ongoing juxtaposition of the beauty and the horror throughout the whole film?
It was beautiful. That's all I gotta say. It was like walking into your office. It was bright throughout the whole movie. The only dark that you saw throughout the movie was when they were at the jazz club and he was messing around with all the women.
Oh,
When
yeah.
at nighttime when he was getting clowned on.
Yeah.
And at when they were on the boat, it was dark. When he did his last killing, it was dark. But everything else
Yeah.
was just bright.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like every horror movie that you see. When there's red coming or that little significance of red, there's something happening.
You gotta like perk up.
Yeah. So I thought that was really cool. And just the whole atmosphere itself was just beautiful. I mean, I've never been to Rome, Italy. That's one of my spots I'm gonna go to, but it's crazy how everybody out there just is carefree. So they don't really
Yeah.
pick up or notice a lot of different things. Like when he was carrying him out to the car after he was dead, he's, oh, this is just my drug friend. He's feeling
That was
silly.
crazy.
You know what I
Like,
mean?
"You're so drunk," talking to Freddy, who's literally dead on his arm.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
another dark moment.
Yeah.
When did he get killed? In a dark room, a dark night.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
that was crazy.
Well, and I think what's interesting too, and other movies have done this well, is that the backdrop is just this interesting juxtaposition of like the days just keep going and life
Hmm.
keeps moving on. And
Yeah,
like Tom is this kind of leech, right? Who's like
right,
moving through the world and he's causing so much pain and chaos, but then he looks so dapper and like,
right,
he's so charismatic and nothing stops,
for sure.
right? Like it's just one more city and
That's
one more
it.
dress shop and one more night at the opera and one more day at this restaurant. And
Yeah, I wouldn't mind.
yeah, I know. Hopefully, again, not the costume killing anybody.
For real, for real.
Yeah,
But I
but
love that though, the fact that they implemented a lot of. I'm a big jazz fan. I'm
yeah,
big into the opera now. But if anybody goes out to operas, I recommend them because they're a story.
yeah,
They're not just singing to sing and to hear those vocals. They're telling you a story in their own way. And I
yeah.
think the music and the city helps out with that atmosphere in this movie.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, to my memory, like every time we're introduced to the music, it's really mirroring what's happening in the
Mhm.
story,
For sure.
right? So, like when they first go to the jazz club,
Hmm.
and Tom has really weaseled his way in, and Dickie's singing and playing the saxophone,
Right.
and Tom comes up. It's mirroring, right? Like the budding of the
Yeah,
friendship, and he's literally including Tom into this part of his
for
life.
sure.
And then, even as they get to the jazz fest later, and um Dickie's kind of like stepping away from Tom, even that music mirrors
Mhm.
it. And then when Tom plays piano, it's often very like somber
Right.
and it's very reflective of like all of his darkness
Yeah.
kind of pouring out of him. And I'm pretty sure I don't know opera well enough, maybe you know, but which opera they go to when he goes with Meredith.
Hmm.
But I think what we're interpreting is whatever's happening on the
For
stage,
sure.
these two men having this
I
duel.
thought that was I wanted to bring that one up too as
Yeah.
well. When he saw the two people on the stage
Yes.
and the one guy pulled the trigger and he saw him pull the gun down and just look at the body on the floor,
Yes.
his eyes were like, this is what's happening now.
Right.
This is my life right now.
Right.
You
And
know,
I'm
I thought that
thinking,
was so cool.
and again, I don't know which opera that is, and I don't speak Italian. It seemed to be communicating that these two men had a
Yeah,
relationship. Something happened that led them to this moment.
for sure.
There's a duel. One
Yeah.
shoots the other,
Yeah.
and the one who shoots goes over to hold him.
And I think we just said the whole story.
I am. Exactly. Exactly. I
But you
think
know
that was
that, yeah,
so beautiful
I thought that was so
to
dope.
mirror the
Hmm.
story that we're watching,
Yeah.
right? Like that meta aspect of it. And then again, later when Tom's playing piano with Peter and he's telling us that very insightful story about how he has the closet with
Hmm.
everything trapped in it behind lock and key. And the music is so somber and
Oh yeah.
sad.
Oh yeah.
And it's like you can feel his internal world coming out in the music.
Yeah. I liked it too when they were at the last place that they took him to say goodbye, and Dickie's mind was changing too. He
Mhm.
wanted to change and pick up
Yeah.
different habits. Like when he
Yes.
said, you know what, I'm done playing the sax. I want to play the drums.
Yes.
So he was like trying to push him away
Yep.
and trying to get him to say like well, who are you? Like, I don't
Right.
like this Dickie. I like that old Dickie.
Yeah,
You know
that's a
what I
good
mean?
point.
So it was just like, okay, I see where he's getting. He's trying to brush him off slowly and
Yeah.
trying to not have him like who he is now so he can just slowly push him away before everything else just
That's such
collapse.
a good point, is that Dickie very much also mirrors Tom
Mm-hmm.
in regards to not having a set identity,
Mm-hmm.
being almost like overly adaptable, right? Like,
Right.
clearly we know in the story that Dickie has an affair with Sylvana. She
Mm.
gets pregnant. He won't marry her. She's Catholic and
Right.
she dies by suicide, which was like the worst thing she could do,
Yeah.
right? And so his solution is just to move to another city and start over because he no longer wants to be here. It doesn't serve him.
Right.
And you're right. Like, he's listening to a different kind of jazz. He wants to give up the saxophone. He wants to pick up the drums. He just
Mm-hmm.
wants to start over, pick a new apartment,
Right.
and just be like another version of himself.
And I think I look back at this story to think that, okay, yo, you didn't make it in the US, so you had to go to a foreign country. Like, who were you here? Were you Tom at that point? Were
Yeah.
you that person that was not allowed in?
Ooh, that's
Were you
interesting.
thinking that if I leave and become Dickie, but a different version of Dickie out here,
Yeah.
will I be accepted into the world? Will I not be that outsider no more?
Well, and what's interesting is I think when we're at it's not really the end because there's so many acts of this movie, but there's the scene where Tom meets the investigator.
Yeah.
And Marge has already figured out that Tom is no good,
Yeah.
right? So Dickie's dad takes Marge on a walk.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
She's like hysterical. Like, she knows he's
Yeah, he's the
great.
one when he finds the rings.
Right, exactly.
Mhm.
But then the investigator's outside with Tom, and he basically says that Dickie has like a crazy temper and almost beat a guy to death.
Yeah.
And that's how he ended up coming to Europe, was
Mhm.
because I guess he graduated from Princeton, but he was in big trouble.
Right.
And to make it go away, dad just shipped him off and
Yeah.
gave him all this money.
Right.
And so I was thinking, like, I like your perspective of wondering, like, was Dickie an outsider?
Mhm.
And it makes me wonder too, like, what was the darkness in Dickie
Right.
that we didn't see as much because we're supposed to see him more as a victim
We did see
under the
part of
creepy
it, though.
glare.
We
Yes.
saw it when he saw that the person he loved was brought up from the water when she floated up in the water, and
Yeah.
nobody was there to save him, to save her.
Yeah.
And it took the ambulance, like you said, it took him 30 minutes, 45, nobody
Right.
cares, but he could have done something.
That's
But
true.
he did not want to get caught in his own lie and his own
Yes.
mischiefs.
Yeah.
So that's when he started flipping out. And that's when we started, I think, to see the real Dickie.
Yeah, that's a great point. What he's really capable of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So was it suicide?
Oh, that's a good point.
You know what I
You
mean?
think maybe he was capable of killing her?
You know what I loved about that scene? First of all, I am a Catholic. I love statues. I love churches. I love all that. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
When I saw the saint come out of the water, I thought that was such an amazing scene.
Yes.
But she didn't have nothing holding her down when she came up. She came up at a flow. So somebody had to put her somewhere somehow. And, in order for her to come up at that exact moment and exact time where they were at too as well. So somebody can see, oh, it was suicide. Nah, I think somebody planned it out to be a death
Wow.
scene.
So this will be on the research docket after we're done recording, because I mean, I thought it was bad enough that he cheated on Marge. He
Mhm.
knew she was pregnant. She came to him. He was
Mhm.
unwilling to either marry her or, I guess, help her
Yeah.
abort it. I don't know if that was an option back then,
Yeah.
but he did nothing.
Yeah.
And he blamed himself. Now, with your point and what we find out about him later and his
Mhm.
capacity for violence and selfishness, and again, self-absorption to protect himself
Mhm.
over anything else, do we think that Dickie was capable of murder to
Was
keep
he a
a
killer?
secret? Yeah, that is fascinating.
The other thing too is fascinating that now that we're talking about that topic, his friend that comes in, I forget their names.
Freddie?
Freddie comes
Yeah.
in. Freddie really didn't like Dickie.
None of them
Freddie
liked each
was
other.
kind of like,
Yeah.
hey, I'm just here because probably you have money and I
Yep.
hang out with you and you're popular, but I know what you're capable of. Because you could see it in his eyes. And when they were
Yeah.
talking, and then when Dickie disappeared, he was like, when he picked up the saxophone, that's when it clicked to me. He was like, he doesn't even like to play this.
He's not good at
He's
it.
not good at it.
Have you
Yeah.
heard him play?
Yeah. So it was just like, who are you and what are you and what is your role with Dickie?
And it sounds like from the times that Tom would talk to Meredith, she's like, everybody knows Freddie. Everybody
Mhm.
knows what Freddie's about.
Right,
So it almost makes me wonder, are they friends through circumstance,
right,
right? Money, access, and maybe being shitty people?
right.
That's a great point. And it
Yeah.
was fascinating because, yeah, really at the end of the day, it didn't really seem like anybody liked
No,
anybody.
at all.
Maybe Marge loved Dickie, but we found out she didn't even know the real Dickie.
Yeah.
She saw the version of Dickie in Italy where
Mhm.
the dad and the investigator make the line about like there's things that
Yeah.
Marge doesn't know about Dickie that we pray she never finds out,
Yeah.
like the Sylvana stuff.
Yep, yep, yep.
So interesting.
Yeah, there was a little kick here and there, and I was just like,
Yeah.
all right, cool. I see where you guys are coming. Like, you guys are kind of all the same, except for her. She's the peaceful one. Because, like you said, when dad came, an investigator came, who was dad? And why is the investigator helping these guys out to say, hey, I'm going to give you this amount of money. You're good. And dad was
Mhm.
like, you know what? We have our secret. And now you, Tom, are gonna have a secret to carry on, but I'm gonna take care of you too as well.
And that's an excellent point because even in the gosh, I can't remember Dickie's dad's name, but even in the Mr. Greenleaf and Dickie relationship, he makes that line about how like
Mhm.
people say you can't choose your parents, that you also can't choose your kids.
Exactly.
And it sounds like or seemed like the dad's motivation was more to protect the family and the company name
Mhm.
than it was really out of love for his son,
For sure.
right? Because the investigator said, like, we found the license plates to Freddie's car in the basement,
Mhm.
and dad wants me to lose these in the river this
Right.
afternoon. So, like,
Right.
he was willing to pay anything just for the appearance
Yeah,
of everything going away.
for sure. And he was stuck. Like, nope, it was my son. I'm good. I know who my
Yeah,
son is.
exactly, like, I'm
You
aware
know?
of what he's
Yeah.
capable of, but I don't need to address it.
Yeah.
Which is really fascinating, I think, as we've had this conversation is like, okay, I would honestly diagnose Tom as a sociopath.
Mhm.
The other people on the table are not great
Yeah.
and not very healthy either. Like, there's some darkness, I think, in all of them except for maybe Marge and maybe Peter. I think
Mhm.
Meredith was also kind of just obtuse, like,
Yeah,
she
yeah.
didn't know what was going on,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
I think she was attracted again to, like, the money
Oh, yeah.
sees money, my money sees the
Right.
money in you, and
Yeah,
they're,
yeah.
like, cut from the same cloth kind of thing. But kind of in that, like, we see Meredith apparently fall completely for Tom.
Mhm.
However, it's a version that doesn't exist. So, like, what do you think about maybe her role in all these players where she seems very, like, innocent and she's also just, I would say, naive?
And dumbfounded.
Oh,
I don't
that's a
like
good
to use
word.
it. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Dumbfounded's a good
She
word.
and us and our culture, we're like "Did-did-it." You're "Did-did-it." You're like there's what are you missing? What you have all the signs in front
Yep,
of you. Like what's going on? Like what
yep.
is your thought process right now? Oh, I'm
Is
on
there a thought
right.
process?
I'm having fun and having the best time of my life with
Yep.
this, and I am gonna ride it till
Yeah.
I can. But other than that, it's just w-
I like the dumbfounded word.
yeah.
All right. So, another piece kind of in this vein of the falsehood and the misleading, when we think about Tom killing too, he's
Mhm,
really killing to protect this life that he's constructed. And
mhm.
we kind of talked about this already. I think part of the sadness and the tragedy is that what he's holding on to and trying to protect isn't real either.
At all.
And so it's kind of like, well, I don't know. What do we think about someone who works so hard to maintain something that isn't even real?
It is exhausting
Yeah.
because I was exhausted. I'm like, bro, I play characters, but I can't keep up with this guy.
Yes, exactly.
Because I get told that so much too. Like, bro, you're like everywhere. You do this, you do that. Like, how do you maintain yourself? And I think to myself, and I was like, whoa, this is something that I have to do.
Yeah.
So this is something that has been implemented in myself, from hardworking to
Yeah.
educating myself to being successful to wanting what I want, and that is just to be comfortable in my own skin. And I think that Tom, right?
Yes.
He was comfortable in everybody else's skin,
But his own.
but his own.
Yeah.
You
I
know?
think that's really the key in the sadness
Yeah.
is that, again, for whatever led him to be who he was, if there's a backstory we don't know, I think it's one of those things where, yeah, the threat of being himself as he
Yeah.
was so great that even though it's exhausting, the false reality, the constructed reality was like the only thing he could tolerate.
And
Even
that's
though
it.
I just kept thinking like this seems like so much work.
Oh, it is.
So many lies, so many chess pieces to your point, like just having to hold all that all the time and get away with it.
And to think that that last scene when he was on the boat, when he
Yeah.
sees Meredith, right?
Yep.
For that one time where where his heart just drops. You can
Yeah.
just set it, and you felt it too. You're like, okay, I'm going on a boat ride with this guy, and I'm in the clear. I got the money. I made it, and then you turn around and you're just like,
Yeah, literally his lies caught up to him.
yeah.
100%.
Hmm.
And I was thinking about this too, is like how genuinely happy do we think Tom was with Peter? Because it comes across as pretty genuine at the time.
Yeah. Or was it a setup? You know?
Exactly. That's the part I was struggling with is because it's so dark.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard to tell.
But it goes back to that question that you asked me about the lady. Meredith too, she when they met each other, they're like, I'm not really this person,
Right.
you know?
She
And
played a game too.
yeah,
Yeah.
so like everybody was living a totally different life
Yeah.
throughout this whole movie.
And there was a line, I think, earlier when Marge was kind of trying to be kind to Tom because he was feeling left
Mhm.
out when Freddie came in the picture, and she says, like, you know, "When Dickie shines a light on you, it's like the sun.
Yeah.
When he like takes it away, it's very cold."
Yeah.
And she like lists out, I think she lists Peter as one of those people.
Hmm.
So this time when I was rewatching it, made me think about like what had happened with Dickie and Peter.
Right?
Something,
For
it
them to
sounds like,
separate.
right,
Yeah.
but he was still friends with Marge.
Yeah.
So I think that's interesting too,
Right.
that he was kind of in that sphere for some amount of
For
time
sure.
and then cast aside or rejected or just tossed away,
Yeah.
but then Marge still kept him around.
Right.
Yeah. I'm like, so then it made me wonder a little bit more about Peter's motivations too,
For
and
sure.
like what kept him in that circle if he had been mistreated by
Mhm.
Dickie as well.
Yeah, I guarantee you it was because, like I said, they didn't like each other. They were just using each other for either the fame, the fortune,
Yeah.
or just
The access.
yeah, that was it.
The experiences. I had that thought this time more too, is like, what's keeping any of them in relation with each other at all,
For sure.
other than maybe the class argument?
Hmm.
Like they're just made from the same stuff, so it's easier to be phonies with each other because I think they think they're better than everybody else.
And they did.
Yeah.
They did. You can tell too, just the way they were talking, the way they were carrying themselves.
Yeah.
If you notice, I took film class for a while back
Yeah.
in college, and that was just
Awesome.
yesterday in 2001.
Same time as
Right, right. But you notice just the main characters. You forget to see what's happening in the background, even though, as we talked about earlier, how bright this movie is.
right.
But those main characters, they stick out like a sore thumb, even though as bright as the movie is,
Mm.
which is kind of weird because just like, dude, like what's happening? Like there's so much other stuff going around us, but our main focus is just right there.
Yeah, so the way it's shot really always makes them the focus,
Hmm.
even though they're set in this beautiful setting and
Yeah.
scenery.
They pop out.
Yeah, they really do. And I thought too this time, like the costuming
Hmm.
is such a character as well.
Right.
Of like again the luxury and the lavishness of it.
I don't mind.
I mean, yeah, I like that luxury too.
Right,
But I'm getting,
right.
a custom suit made all the time like they were.
Yeah.
And even then, they had to sort of like nag Tom all the time
Yeah.
because he didn't have enough clothes or like
Yeah,
his
that was
tweed
funny.
jacket and
Like, when are you gonna get a new coat, dude?
right.
You know?
And constantly and like you do have more than one shirt, right? And so it was just like no matter what, even if they accepted him,
Mhm.
part of the acceptance was to bully him.
Yeah.
Like at every turn.
I thought it was so funny when he would tell him, dude, you don't have to pick up all the time.
Yes.
You don't have to do this all the time. I mean, I'm a well-mannered person, let me tell you. And my father was the one that taught me,
Yeah.
dude, everywhere you go, you pick up after yourself. You make sure that you're the one, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that's what was also like triggering him to like stop. This is not what it is over here. This is not how
Yes.
it's supposed to be.
Yes.
Live free, be free. Who cares? A carefree
Right.
life.
Well, and I think kind of the hard part about that is though, I think Dickie was coming from that place of privilege and
Mhm.
entitlement, and it was another thing that highlighted that Tom wasn't really one of them.
For sure.
It's because Dickie's just too selfish to think of cleaning up after
Right.
himself, and seeing Tom do those little things, I think, was like a mirror back
Right.
to kind of the dark sides of Dickie.
For sure.
He just doesn't care. He doesn't
Right.
care about anybody but himself,
Of
really,
himself.
at the end of the day.
Selfish. Yeah.
Correct. So by the end, I mean, how were you left feeling? Like, what resonated? Maybe disturbed or heartbroken or intrigued? Like, where did you land?
Each three of those,
Okay.
I gotta say, I was heartbroken just because the last guy
Peter.
was genuine and nice dude. You know, I came in into just like the real world. I was in the wrong place at the wrong time, and I thought that this person was great.
Yeah.
I got taken advantage of,
Yeah.
and this is my consequence.
Yeah.
I felt like I said earlier, I run a podcast. This is me genuinely. Trust me, I have a lot of energy. I'm all over the place. I'm a happy guy. But at my other jobs, you have to be kind of the same person, but yet be a little bit different.
Right.
So you have to adapt to your environment,
Yeah.
is what I like to say. And I saw him adapting to each and every environment, and
Mhm.
he was doing a great job of it. But at the same time, he was educating himself for what was to come.
Right.
And he thought, I'm gonna get away with it.
Oh, for
You know?
sure. He was very confident, I think,
Yeah.
in his ability to run the scheme.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And at the same
Which
time,
could be intriguing.
I was worried because it
Oh,
goes
yeah.
back to what is happening now. Who is this person
Yep.
that we are seeing?
Yep.
Who really are you compared to what you put yourself as on the social media aspect or to the real world? Because it is happening now, and you can tell that it has happened before.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
it's reoccurring.
Yeah, and I think a lot about too, like, it's hard to know, like, as you're meeting someone, like, to trust that the
Mhm.
version you're getting is the true version of themselves.
For
And
sure.
even just, obviously as a therapist, like, helping someone to want to find the true version of themselves takes a lot of work and takes a lot of vulnerability. And a lot of people struggle with that. They get to a certain point and they don't want to look any further. They
Right.
don't want to go down to that room and open up whatever's in there.
Mhm.
And so I think, social media, what we've gotten used to, has also created a pathway to allow
Yeah.
and almost enforce this idea that it's okay not to do that. And it's
Right.
actually like a better version of yourself
For sure.
to be the curated version. And I think in my professional world, especially, I find that sad. I think that
Mhm.
it's really disconnecting us as people
Oh, a lot.
because it takes so much to find that true version of yourself. And I think a lot of people just don't want to.
Exactly.
The demand to do that is going down.
It is.
It's like all the curated versions are coming together and nobody ever really knows.
It is. And the other thing too is just like I like to use that word. It was eye-opening for me
Yeah.
because it was like, man, if one person can do it, how many other people are doing this too?
Oh, yeah.
And getting away with all this. It might not be murder that they're getting away with, which I hope you're not, but
Yeah.
it's just what are you truly getting away with?
Well, and I mean, I think again, if we bring it to like current times, people use deceit to get what they want all the time.
All the
I
time.
mean, just at our current state in the world and our country, if it gets people what they want, they hurt people all the time.
Mhm.
Again, may not be murder,
Yeah.
but it's, polluting the water, it's killing the ecosystem, it's putting out unsafe products, but we're rushing the process because we just want to go to market, we want to make money.
And how many of these people are leaders?
Literally,
Right?
exactly. The ones who have all the power,
Yeah.
who don't ever have to be held accountable for who they really are, and just kind of maintain that facade and the deceit because it works for them, regardless of how many people it hurts.
And I love that word that you just used, power.
Yes.
So this movie was a big power trip,
Yeah.
if you look at it correctly, because Dickie had all the power, and
He
then
thought he did.
when Tom came in,
Uh-huh.
he wanted that power.
Yes, I see. Yep.
Yeah, and then when he got kicked out, he lost that power, but then Freddie came in and he had the power, and then the power all of a sudden started fading away where it came back to one more person having all that power.
Yeah.
And it took one more person to be like, dude, you're at this level.
Yeah. And again, he was willing to sacrifice everything to maintain what he had
Yeah.
grasped onto. You
Hmm.
know, he was like clinging to it and then eventually was murdering people to maintain.
Yeah.
Like there was nothing at that point he wasn't willing to sacrifice.
It was a game of Clue.
Yes. Again, a much, much, much darker name. I love that movie.
I love that movie too. That was
It's
a
a
great movie.
classic.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. But yeah, so kind of like as we're starting to wrap up, Tom ends this film really utterly alone.
Hmm.
Again, surrounded by so much beauty, except he's destroyed everything and
Hmm.
even the closest thing to something real
For sure.
he could have had. And like, how did that hit you seeing where he landed at the end?
The man in the mirror.
Yes.
Who was that man in the mirror who
Yeah.
was sitting on the floor crying?
Yeah.
That's where I was like, now and the best thing about it was that angle.
Yes.
So I'm staring at this that the cabin,
Yes.
but the mirror's right here, and I love the way the director did it.
Yes.
Come in and come out.
From
Come
the
in.
rocking of the boat.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so like, who is this dude?
Yes.
Who am I? This is truly, and I thought
Yes.
that's what hit me to be like, okay, this was a great movie. It was a
Yeah.
badass movie.
I agree. And just, yeah, it's just so complicated.
It is.
And it's I think a hallmark of a really well done movie is that
Very
again,
much.
it wasn't a clear line. Even though I really do think professionally, Tom is a sociopath, the way the story unfolds, the way he's portrayed,
Mhm.
you could see being swept up in him
Mhm.
and seeing those parts of him, especially when he is so skilled at giving you what you want to see.
For sure.
Like that's the part that makes it almost more of a horror movie to me,
Yeah.
is to think like, how would you, if you were one of those people, spot
Mhm.
the deceit, or would you be sucked into it?
It's funny how you said that. Is it a horror movie? Because it's suspense. You
Yep.
know, it's adventure. It's
Psychological.
yeah, it has everything. Hey, hands down.
I know. It has like that horror of humanity piece that I'm a big fan of.
Does. I
It's not
loved
a
it.
big boogeyman like lurking at night.
It
But
only
it
took me
is, it's
20
that
some years to watch this movie.
better late than never.
Hey, I'm all right with it.
Yes. So kind of with that, is there anything you think you would have understood differently or it would have hit differently if you'd either A, seen it when it was new or seen it at a different point in your personal life?
I think right now was the perfect time to see it.
Interesting.
I'm that kind of person that things happen for a reason at the moments when they need to happen.
Yeah.
You know, and watching this movie now, I look back at how he was a young actor, you know, a coming up actor, and one of the best roles that he played, where I can go back and watch a movie like we talked about earlier. I still watch VHS movies,
Yeah.
where I can pull this movie out to the day right now and say, we all need to sit down and watch this movie because
Yeah.
this movie is a lot better from what we're seeing on the screens right now.
So it feels like right time, right place.
Right place,
Kind
yeah.
of the opposite of what we were saying
Yeah.
earlier for Peter.
Mm-hmm.
But like being able to kind of appreciate how almost well it aged.
Yeah, very well.
Yeah. I mean, I think even
Just
though,
like us.
yeah,
Eh?
it's set in the 50s, which helps it almost be ageless,
It is.
right? Like there's no cell phone to distract you,
At
like
all.
an old computer to distract you. Like there's nothing that you're going to point to and be like, oh, wow, this movie was shot
Yeah.
in the 90s,
Mm,
even though it was. Yeah, I mean, I think the themes that we've discussed today are timeless,
very much so.
right?
Yep. And it goes back to what we've been talking about a lot. You see it more now in the real world.
Yeah.
Back in the day, maybe because we were younger, we were so skeptical of what we wanted to be in life. You know,
Yeah.
we weren't really paying attention to that.
Yeah.
And we were like, hey, I'm living, I'm having fun. I want to grow up. I still probably don't know what I want to do. I
Right.
mean, we knew what we wanted to do, but at the same time, I want to have fun. So we were mesmerized by our adventure, by our journey.
Yeah.
And now we sit down and watch this movie, and I'm like, damn, okay, this is interesting.
Yeah. It
You
makes
know?
you think. I
Yeah.
love that. I love a thinker. I'm a big fan of that.
Oh, yeah.
So if you flash forward a week from now, what image or moment from the film do you think will live rent free in your head? What's going to stick with you?
What's gonna stick with me? The fact that this is a very powerful movie that I recommend everybody to see because trust is a big issue in the world right now and
Yeah.
amongst people and amongst us
Yeah.
that who really is that person sitting on your couch?
Yeah.
Who is that person that you're really calling a friend? And how well do you know that person? And I think accountability, of course, has gone out the window nowadays.
Yeah. Sadly.
Responsibility has gone out the window too as well.
Yeah.
Like my circle has gotten smaller as the years go by,
Yep.
and now it's like like they ask me, "Hey, do you talk to that person? Do you talk to?" And I was like, "Nah, I talk to about 3, 4 people." As a school teacher, I would always tell my kids, "You have this many friends right now in elementary school.
Yeah.
In high school, you're gonna have about this many. When you graduate, you're gonna have about this many. When you get out into college, you're gonna have that many.
Yeah.
And when you grow older, you're probably gonna have about that many."
Yeah.
You know what? And that's what this movie, I think, reflects on me. Like me teaching the younger youth back in the day when I was teaching that, hey, it comes back tenfold and it all goes in full circle. But you
Yeah.
need to trust the people that you choose because sometimes you just don't know.
Well, and I think a part of that too, though, kind of to a point you made several times today, is you have to want to be discerning
Hmm.
to even choose.
For sure.
And so I think the hard part is I worry, let me put it that way, that a lot of people rather have the 10,
Yeah.
regardless of the quality
Oh, for
or
sure.
the actual depth and like the knowing who they are,
Yeah.
than to do that work that you're talking about
Yeah.
to have the 3,
Right.
that they actually really know who these people are. You've done
Hmm.
that work and you know who you are,
Right.
and the relationship is built on something more than maybe class
Oh,
or
yeah.
status or access.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's a great point, and I think kind of the worrisome part of that is I don't know how many people value that.
Yes, that's the keyword, value.
Mhm.
Where is your value
Right.
and how do you value yourself?
And yeah, and the relationships and who you let in that sphere, for
Mhm.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, like I was saying before, the image part that will always stay with me was when Tom hits Dickie with the oar,
Yeah.
and that image is just completely frozen in my brain tied to this movie.
So you wanna talk about that image? My image was the one that we talked about when they shot him on the stage,
Yeah.
and you're not seeing you know what happened,
Yep.
but when he approaches him
Yep.
and you see that the blood,
Yep.
which is actually the.
Like a cloth or
Yeah,
something.
but
Mhm.
then that's the image that stuck out to me the
Yep.
most.
Which I think mirrors, right?
Mhm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm talking about the literal image and you're talking about the metaphor
Yeah.
that's elicited when Tom sees the
2 good
the
people come
opera.
together at the right time.
I know. I love it. All right, awesome. Any last thoughts about the talented Mr. Ripley? First time.
Uh, Again, guys, check this out. Zia Records, thank
I
you
love
very
it.
much. I had to go and get this and check it out for the first time. Uh One of the best movies I've ever seen, I gotta say, and I am mesmerized by how well it was put. It took me a long time to see it, but I'm very grateful for the opportunity to watch it, come here and speak about it, and also come here and be on your podcast. It was such an honor.
Yeah.
And
Dissect it
yeah, for
together.
sure, for sure. For all my movie fans that are out there, I got to tell you, pick up a good movie. It's like
Yes.
picking up a good book,
100%. Yeah.
and enjoy movies. I love them,
Yeah.
especially the older movies. Trust me,
Yes.
they
And
have
watch
more
something you've
feeling.
never seen. I think that's
Yes.
the fun part. Like, pick up something you've never seen and just give it a
Hmm.
chance.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
you
now
never know.
we like our comfort movies
Oh
or our
yeah,
comfort shows where we watch it over and over. Totally fine. I do that too. But I think it's great sometimes to just be like, "Oh, I've never seen this. Let's just
exactly.
see what it's about."
Be different. Watch
Yeah,
something different too as well.
exactly.
It never hurts. You might like it, you might not, you might hate it, but at the same time, you saw something that is gonna change your mind,
Yeah,
and
you
it's
had an
gonna make your
experience.
mind think.
And I love that. So one thing I'm doing at the end of every episode, excuse me, is asking people, and you might not know on the spot, you can send it to me later, but what's one movie that you've seen and loved that maybe I've never seen
Woo!
that you would recommend?
We talked about this.
Yeah.
And you're a movie person, so that's hard.
I know, and it's fun because I'm building a list.
All
People have
right.
given me some good ones.
Jeez. You know what? You put me on the spot on that one
Yeah, I did.
because I would really have to look back at my movie collection
Yep.
to think like, hey, I don't think she's seen this one, but I bet you she has. But
Okay.
that one I do have to
I
get back
love
to
this.
you.
This will be it to be.
Yeah, for
That's
sure.
great. No, it's fun. I like putting people on the spot a little bit at the
Yeah,
end.
no, I love it. I love it because I do that all the time too.
Yep. All right. Well, please remind everybody where they can find you.
Guys, my name is Christopher Felix. I'm from Nogales, Arizona, and I represent the Valley very well. You can find me on my handles at Streets Chris1, my Instagram, HODS Podcast, also my other Instagram page, my Facebook page, HODS Podcast, my YouTube at El Profe Streets. And you can find me, trust me, all over the Valley.
I mean, you are so busy and embedded. I love seeing what you're doing all the time and introducing me to other businesses and other places.
Yeah.
All these things I want to jump on board with when,
For sure.
I don't know, life slows down one day.
Right.
But thank you so much for coming and hanging
You're very
out.
welcome.
I hope you all enjoyed another episode. You can find me on Instagram at dr.sophiamurphy. You can find our podcast on Instagram at Scene Interpretation Pod. You can find it on Apple Podcasts,
Amazing.
Spotify Podcasts, YouTube, website, sceneinterpretationpod.com. Hopefully you're having a great time hanging out with me, still lining up some awesome people to come talk about more great movies. And if you are following, like, subscribe, leave some feedback. I want to know what you're liking, what's standing out to you. And if you have cool answers to questions that we were asking, share the information. Cinephile to cinephile. What are we missing? What is the actual answer to some of these questions? And if not, we can just chit chat about it too. I love it. But until next time, bye.
Later. Hey, give us a recommendation too.
Absolutely. Yes. Drop some recommendations. Till next time.